hustle doesn't require skill,
Mm-hmm.
but skill is a natural result of aligned hustle. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not like even if it's not aligned, hustle's going to get you some sort of something. There's going to be a feedback, there's going to be an outcome, and that's what creates the skill. Like skill is something that is learned. It's something that you can teach yourself. It's something
Right.
that comes with the effort, not just time, but the effort as well. And that's what hustle is. It's high level effort. And we've used it as such a negative thing. And I get why, because people are, like you're saying, with the aligned part, they're putting a hustle into a place that doesn't really mean anything to them. And so that's where these levels of like, call it burnout, whatever, that's where it's coming from. It's because you're hustling in a place that doesn't feel good to you. Because when I hustle in shit that I like, I don't give a fuck.
Right. And it doesn't feel like hustle when you're in it either, because it starts to be like that flow state. But it actually hurts my heart that hustle is now a derogatory term. Can we reclaim? We're reclaiming it right now.
If hustle feels good to you, let it feel good to you.
You and I are the hustle queens, I think, because let's wait until the very last moment
That's my
for things.
ADHD brain.
I know, same. Let's wait till it's due and then we'll do it.
But I have gotten such high level, I don't even want to say success, but outcomes that I always thought about it, like especially when I initially found out that I had ADHD, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense because of this fact that when I was in school, I would wait until a paper was due, maybe, and I had like 2 hours, and I would bang the shit out of that thing. And I've never gotten below a B, especially on a paper, because I consider myself a relatively good writer. But when I got diagnosed, I was like thinking to myself, had I given myself more time, would I have done better? And like I almost started to beat myself up for having that sort of a time effect, right? That's what it is. It's this time effect. But now that I'm sitting in solitude of like who I am and where I am, that was a gift. I'm so sorry for the people that spent fucking 2.5 weeks writing and researching papers, and I did it in 2 hours and I still did better than you. Like, I'm sorry for you.
Yeah. And I know myself enough now. I think I even knew myself enough back then because I also did that thing, but I didn't feel any shame or guilt about it. Maybe I just thought at that time I didn't give a shit about school, but I've always cared. I've always cared about how well I do at certain things. It's just like innate in me. I want to succeed. I want to do well. And yeah, I would cram for tests too, like studying. I'll study 2 hours before it and then I'll do great and it's fine because if I don't know it already, I'm not gonna know it either. That was the other part for me for studying and for papers, same thing. And the reason why it worked for me is because if I started too soon, then I got up in my mind and started overthinking everything and questioning and wondering if there's a better way. And then this and then I'm in this whole paralyzed place of which is the right thing to write about. Where if I don't have the time, then I'm just
There was also, for me at least, high distraction. Like, if you gave me too much time, I will find something else to do, period. I will immediately move on to the next thing that requires me to have that hustle in me, because too much time, like I need the time constraints
Mhm.
because I need the pressure, and pressure for me builds diamonds. That's what it does. Maybe not for others, but I didn't feel guilt at the time. Like, I really didn't give a shit. It
Yeah.
wasn't until I went to a psycho, started to go to therapy, and then, all these things unfolded where they're like, oh, you have ADHD. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And that's when the guilt hit, like way, 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 way later, because then I had something to go back to and sort of like pinpoint the reasons why I am the way that I am. But again, now in my solitude, like that is just how my brain works. It doesn't matter. I don't need to fix it. I just need to work with it. And I was working with it. And it's now just giving me more clarity on like, this is who I am. Hard stop. I'm going to use it. I'm going to make it work.
Yeah. I think that is such a gift is that awareness of the way we operate in any form, be it our brains, be it our bodies, be it our social conditioning, whatever, as long as we can be aware of it and then have the conscious choice to respond to it or react to it in ways that actually serve us, and knowing ourselves well enough in order for that to be the outcome. Huh, what a gift.
It is a gift. Absolutely. And I will also say to, diagnosis and things of that nature, I'm sure that there's levels to all this shit, right? We live on a spectrum. All of these things exist. And so if it's impeding on your ability to do, figure that shit out too,
That's what I mean.
like I it was impeding until I got to a place where I was like, okay, this is how I am. These are the things that I need to do in order to make this work. And so I did, but I did that very young because I have had self-awareness for so long that I don't let myself just sit in the muck and like, oh man, I'm not like that guy. Like, fuck that guy. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to help myself to get
Yeah.
where I need to be, period?
Yeah. Yeah. It happened later in life for me. But here I am. And now that we're talking about this, I'm like, no wonder my book isn't written because there's no deadline. That shit will sit for multiple more years until somebody or something gives me a deadline. And don't do it right now.
I was
Don't do
like,
that thing.
tomorrow? No.
Tomorrow. I don't have time. Not tonight. We got gymnastics.
What do you do at gymnastics? I mean, whip out a pen.
Oh no. I entertain one of two. Yeah. They were in gymnastics at the same time for a season, and that was delightful. Yeah. Because then I did sit. Actually, what I did with that hour was scroll Instagram. But it was very intentional. I was like, yay, I get to actually have the capacity to just to sit and scroll. Okay. Because I don't do that a lot. It's usually first thing in the morning and very first thing before I like do my little oracle card and reading before bed
Is when you scroll.
is when I scroll. Yeah.
Before I
And it,
oracle.
I know. Me and my routines. I like them. I don't want the phone to be the last thing I look at before I go to sleep. I'm not doing that.
The bane of my like that feels like no, and it physically gave me headaches.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like,
my God, I have to tell you something,
who's
actually.
this
This is
for?
so bad. And I don't know why or how this came about, but Lennon came to me because she's been playing Roblox, which I don't hate. I also don't love, but she doesn't know how to like, the messages are off, the sound is off, everything's, she's just playing. She goes, is it too close to my bedtime to be playing Roblox? I'm like, well, what do you mean? She's like, am I going to get cancer? I'm like, what does that have to do with playing Roblox? And she goes, you said that if I'm on the computer too close to bedtime, I'll get cancer. I'm like, I never said that.
I was like, I'm so curious.
First of all, not true. Second of all, what? And so I asked her, I'm like, what connection is happening here that you deduced this? And what I did tell her was that it's not good for your brain to be watching screens that close to bedtime, which is true. She decided because they recently were watching the movie The Art of Racing in the Rain. Have you seen that? It is so good and also so sad because this woman in the movie, spoiler alert, dies of brain cancer. I don't know how she made the connection, but this was her worry yesterday, Lennon
Oh,
and her
weird.
little worry.
Interesting. So she
Yeah.
connected the movie to, well, maybe because it was a movie, right? She was something that she was watching. Was she watching it close to bedtime? Like, it's like the creation.
It was days ago that we were watching it. It was last week that we were watching that movie. But then I said it's bad for your brain, and then she took the brain from the movie.
Well, brain to cancer, right?
Brain to cancer, and decided that playing Roblox too close to bedtime is going to give her brain cancer and that she's going to die. It's not funny.
Crazy.
But it's just interesting the way the mighty brain functions.
Makes connections. Yeah. Especially out of fear, because that's where it stemmed from, right? There's this fear, and not to say that you did it on purpose, but like you instilled a little bit of fear in her of like,
Yeah, intentionally
Don't
too.
do this thing, right? And so that fear then took a life of its own and tried to find a connection between what was said and what is her, what's if she's experiencing in her environment, which
Right.
was the movie.
Right. And so, I mean, sure, maybe I didn't say those words, but it helped her formulate the thought. And it's not that I'm trying to intentionally put fear into the kids, but I want her to think about consequences of actions, just in general in life, right? Especially when it comes to screens and things like that, and especially when it comes to health, because she's also the one that's like, let's go to the gym. She wants to go. She wants a gym membership. Like, you got to be a little bit older. Because she's so just like, is this good for my body? Is this good? Is this food good for my body? She's very health aware. And so that's why I use that to help her understand choices. Because if we're not guiding them in those directions, then who is?
Sometimes their own mind, right? If there's no direction, it's going to take a direction on its own.
Right. But if we don't inform them that watching screens too long or too close to bedtime or too whatever it is not super healthy for the brain, then who will? Nobody. Not the screens. Not the people on the other side of the screens.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. My nephew had this paper from school that I saw the other day, and it asked them, like, how long are you spending on the screen? And it made them mark down, like, all of the time that they spend just in whether it's YouTube or video games or on the computer, like, it didn't matter. And it was just a way to get them to become aware of the time that is spent. And I think it's a little bit different. Obviously, like, the reason why it's bad to do it so close to when you go to sleep has to do with your circadian rhythm and the way that light hits and all of these things.
Right.
But there's also a level of effect to just with time itself. Like, how long are you spending?
Yeah. And dreams. It affects her dreams. It's like whatever she's thinking of last is kind of what she's processing. But anyhow, is he time aware? He's not that old, your nephew.
It's 9.
He's 9? Okay. So he understands. Does he understand the concept of how long time is?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's yeah.
Yes, and right. It's like I think they're becoming. It's a
Right.
becoming. It's not an already done.
Meanwhile, we're adults. We're like, what's time? What is time? It's a
I mean, I'm in the
construct.
same boat. Time aware who?
Yeah. Well,
Not me.
yeah. Not this house.
What is time, anyways? Just a construct that we have created to understand space, right? From one thing to the next, like events.
Yeah.
Speaking of events,
Speaking of events, how's your move? How was your move?
well, it's so funny too, because when we first started the podcast, I was moving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was dead in the middle of packing my shit and moving across the country. And now I'm essentially technically didn't move out of the country, but kind of did at the same time. So just even to reflect back on that is really interesting because it feels so it's different, but also very much the same. When I remember when I first got the announcement, let's say that I had to leave California, I was like, oh, this is exciting. Cool. There's this new sort of energy. And it was the same exact energy that I had when my house burned down. So I had a house fire in, I think, the eve of New Year's of 2015. So it was January or December 31st, 2014. And so that night, my apartment burned down. And I remember watching the fire take all of my shit. And I'm just like, whoa, this is really interesting. But all I could feel was this like elevated piece of like, this is a whole new world that I'm about to step into.
Mm-hmm.
I've never felt freedom in my life like I did in that moment until these moments now, like where I sit in the presence, because freedom now looks so different than it did in what was that, literally 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like at this point, 10 years ago, to the moment where I was like, oh, there's this again, this sense of freedom when I had to leave my apartment. And then again, this different, new, but similar sense of freedom of I get to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
There is literally no one in my way. There's no one stopping me. There's no one telling me what to do. If there is ever a moment where like accountability is at the forefront of my mind, it's now and it's today, because there's truly nothing in front of me except for myself. If something doesn't happen, it's because of me. And that is a level of freedom that I've never experienced before a day in my life.
Ooh.
There's no excuses. There's nothing else but me. There's nothing else but my own mind and me putting something in front of me in order for whatever I want to not happen. And it's very exhilarating. It's very fucking frightening as well.
Yeah.
But I love to be frightened.
Not just not happen, but also to happen.
But also to happen. Absolutely. Yeah. Like it is all me. And even to the point where like I was thinking about this before and I wrote this essay about it, that even if I seek help, I have to take the action to actually ask for it. No one's coming to fucking save me.
No one is coming to save you.
There's not a single person. If I die, someone might notice, but like it's not, you know what I mean?
Eventually.
Like there's no one here that's going to pick up the pieces or tell me that I need to do something or see me in distress and step in. So I even now in getting help have to take my own action to ask in order to receive.
Yeah, what a concept.
What a concept. What a gift.
Welcome to adulting.
I know. It's the Wild West, and I'm here for it. I love it because it's so new. I love new things. It's the ADHD again in me, where it's like, oh, bright, shiny, cool, like amazing. I am so
it feels motivating.
Yes,
it feels inspiring.
Yeah, 1000%. I will ride this train until it doesn't, and then we'll see when we get there. You know, like I'm not even.
Until we move again. We'll have check back in the podcast 7 months from now. See where
am I? Yeah, right.